They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlyn Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlyn Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
For months, the WNBA was riding a tidal wave it had never seen before. Sold-out arenas, record-breaking TV ratings, skyrocketing jersey sales, all thanks to one name, Caitlyn Clark. She wasn't just another rookie. She was the spark plug breathing life into a league desperately searching for mainstream relevance. But now, that entire ecosystem is hanging by a thread. Clark is injured, sidelined with a quad strain for at least 2 weeks. And what's unfolding is exposing just how fragile the WNBA's newfound success really is.
The Indiana Fever announced that star Caitlyn Clark will be out at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain. Clark reported some pain in her leg Saturday after the team's loss to the New York Liberty. She subsequently underwent an MRI and was diagnosed with the strain on Monday.
Because let's be brutally honest, this isn't just an injury. This is the equivalent of the league's oxygen tank suddenly losing pressure. With Clark out, ratings are expected to nosedive, ticket sales are already slipping, and sponsors are quietly starting to sweat. The so-called Caitlyn Clark effect wasn't hype. It was the foundation. And now that foundation is cracking in real time.
Clark was the WNBA's Rookie of the Year last season and a first-team All-WNBA selection. So far, she's averaging 19 points and a league-leading 9.3 assists through 4 games this season. I could give a damn about that last part. I don't care about her leading the league in assists. I don't care about the points that she's averaging because I already know that the young lady can ball. She is special. What I'm interested in is what somebody tweeted me and asked about earlier today that I want to show you right now. Put this tweet up, please, so our audience can see it here. At 4th Gen Bucci, B-U-C-C-I, right? Stephen A. Smith, can the WNBA keep itself afloat while CC, as in Caitlyn Clark, is out?
When Caitlyn Clark entered the WNBA, she didn't just join the league, she transformed it. Rookie of the Year? Check. First team All-WNBA? Check. But those accolades barely scratch the surface. What really matters is what she did for the league's visibility. Indiana Fever games that once struggled to fill seats were suddenly drawing 17,000 fans at home, a jaw-dropping 319% increase from the previous season. On the road, teams had to move games to bigger arenas just to handle the demand.
Unfortunately, though, the celebration in the WNBA, it was cut short yesterday afternoon as WNBA players learned the harsh lesson: be careful what you wish for. Headline at the New York Post: Caitlyn Clark sidelined with Indiana Felines announcing shock injury. Keyword: shock. This injury was shocking, but not for reasons that you may think.
The television numbers were even more staggering. Games featuring Clark averaged 1.1 million viewers, sometimes peaking as high as 3 million. For a league that previously considered 200,000 viewers a solid night, these numbers weren't just good. They were historic. 6 different broadcast partners shattered their own records, and every single one of those top-rated games involved one constant: Caitlyn Clark. She had turned women's basketball into appointment television, something few thought was even possible.
Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA-specific merchandise. It started with Caitlyn Clark. And so now that we know all of this, and we've known that for months, now we get to turn around and look and see what exactly is it that the league will do knowing that she's out for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying I know for sure what's going to happen, but I have an idea.
While league executives were busy playing it safe, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith wasn't pulling any punches. The moment Caitlyn Clark's injury was announced, Stephen A. erupted like a human megaphone, ripping into the WNBA's leadership for its failure to properly elevate and protect its biggest asset. According to him, Clark wasn't just helping the league. She was the league. And now, with her benched, the cracks were already beginning to show.
Thanks to Clark, Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans at home and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. That's about Caitlyn Clark. How do we know this? Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier.
By the way, if you're appreciating the depth we're bringing here, I need you to do something that helps this channel grow and allows us to keep producing these high-level breakdowns. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. The algorithm pays attention, and every interaction helps push these conversations to more viewers like you who actually care about the game behind the headlines.
We'll find out. We don't know yet, but I'm going to be really interested in seeing, Molly, what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings, because if for some reason there is a precipitous drop-off, then everybody needs to stand down and recognize the fact that the speculation or the assertions and assumptions about her being the golden goose is validated.
Back to Stephen A. His receipts were undeniable. Fanatics merchandise sales had doubled. Sponsors were flooding in. Entire road schedules were being reorganized just to maximize Clark's appearances. And yet the WNBA still acted like she was just another rookie. Stephen A. wasn't just venting. He was laying out a case study in league mismanagement.
You asked me about Caitlyn. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlyn should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
But while Stephen A. was raising the alarm, others inside the league were growing increasingly resentful, and the tension was hard to miss. Veterans like Cheryl Swoops and rising stars like Angel Reese started voicing their frustrations, often indirectly. The argument was simple. We've been here grinding for years. Why is she getting all the shine now? On the surface, it sounded like a plea for fairness. But underneath, the resentment was laced with something far more complicated.
I notice when you're asking about Caitlyn a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
Let's not dance around it. Race played a role in the discourse. Some players saw Clark, a young white woman, receiving levels of attention they never did, no matter how well they performed. But here's where Stephen A. cut through the noise. It's not about Clark personally. It's about what she represents to the public. She brought millions of eyeballs who previously didn't care about the WNBA. The marketing wasn't about race. It was about undeniable star power and timing. She wasn't taking attention away from anyone. She was bringing attention that never existed before.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlyn Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season, because this is Caitlyn Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included the Indiana Fever?
The moment Clark was ruled out, the financial repercussions were brutal and immediate. TV ratings cratered, dropping from over 1.1 million viewers per game down to just 394,000. That's not a dip. That's falling off a cliff. Entire sections of once-packed arenas now sit empty, with tickets being resold for half the price. Sponsors who had jumped on board to capitalize on the Clark phenomenon are suddenly nervous about their ROI.
Rising tide lifts all boats. And if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that, then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been gone for those 2 weeks.
And the problem compounds when you realize how deeply teams invested in Clark's presence. Multiple franchises had already moved their games to larger venues, solely to accommodate the Clark-driven crowds. But now, with Clark sidelined, they're left staring at unsold seats and empty VIP sections. What was once a league-wide revenue boom has, almost overnight, turned into a logistical and financial headache.
We know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlyn Clark got here. And y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlyn Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
What's got Stephen A. absolutely fuming, and frankly, what should have every WNBA executive losing sleep, is how preventable this disaster was. Yes, injuries happen in sports. But Clark wasn't sidelined because of bad luck. She was constantly targeted. Hard fouls, elbows, borderline assaults. Every game, she took physical punishment that should have triggered league intervention. Instead, the WNBA leadership shrugged it off as just part of the game.
Look, I think Stephen A. is 100% correct on this. At the end of the day, you already see people actually saying, hey, I'm not watching for 2 weeks. I'm not tuning in for 2 weeks. And it's really bad news for the Mystics and the Sky because both of those teams moved those games to big arenas. So it's like now that she's not playing, what is that attendance going to look like? The viewership, right? The viewership is going to plummet. I already know. Because majority of the people that's watching the Indiana Fever wants to see Caitlyn Clark. And sad to say it, a lot of them only want to see Caitlyn Clark. They don't really care about the entire team.
Stephen A. wasn't buying it. He saw a league that allowed its most marketable player to get battered night after night while hiding behind weak statements and toothless suspensions. When your entire financial future is built around one generational star, letting her take that level of abuse isn't just risky. It's professional negligence. You're not protecting a player, you're risking the league's future.
Everybody was moving Caitlyn Clark games to bigger facilities because everyone was selling tickets. There were ratings. It was a ratings bonanza. Now with Caitlyn Clark not playing, what do? Well, when you change your situs, guess what? You can't change it back.
Yep.
All
the tickets are literally half the price, and there are entire sections of the stadium that have not sold any tickets.
And this failure didn't start with the injury. It started long before, when the WNBA seemed almost embarrassed to fully embrace Clark's rise. Instead of launching a massive marketing campaign to build her into a global icon, they issued bland, generic press releases that could have been written by AI. It was as if they were afraid to acknowledge that one player was doing more for the league than a decade of collective effort ever had.
2.2 million average viewers
Tuned in to watch Caitlyn Clark and the Fever take on the Liberty.
Peaking at 3.2 million viewers is crazy for the WNBA, even for the Fever.
Became the 6th most watched WNBA regular season or playoff game.
Imagine finding a genie in a bottle, and instead of wishing for unlimited growth, you settle for slightly better merchandise sales. That's exactly what the league did. While Clark was bringing unprecedented attention to women's basketball, the WNBA tiptoed, scared of upsetting veterans or appearing unfair. But in doing so, they squandered the chance to elevate the entire league by fully capitalizing on the moment.
She came into the league last year with no break whatsoever between the college game and the pro game and did her thing. Ended up as an all-star, ended up being 4th in the league in MVP voting, was the clear winner for Rookie of the Year. No competition whatsoever in that regard when it was really all said and done. We know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had.
Now, the consequences are playing out exactly as Stephen A. predicted. Fans who tuned in specifically to watch Clark are openly pledging to boycott games until she returns. Social media is flooded with frustrated posts from viewers saying they have no reason to watch without her. And who can blame them? The hard truth is that for millions of casual fans, Caitlyn Clark wasn't just a player, she was the product.
Higher television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it. But you didn't do it.
Sponsors are watching, networks are watching, and most importantly, the numbers aren't lying. The WNBA is now scrambling to patch holes in a sinking ship that was once riding high just weeks ago. Stephen A. has been sitting on a mountain of receipts, waiting for this exact moment to say, "I told you so." And like clockwork, the data is validating every single warning he gave.
You literally cannot make this up. When she's not playing, ticket prices, merchandise sales plummet. Viewership declines when she is not suited up in uniform. The numbers do not lie, guys. Caitlyn Clark is the biggest box office attraction in the WNBA, period. Facts over feeling.
The next few weeks won't just determine the short-term ratings. They may define the league's entire trajectory. The WNBA now stands at a critical crossroads. Will it continue trying to downplay Clark's importance to avoid bruising egos? Or will it finally wake up, protect its stars, and lean fully into the marketing machine Caitlyn Clark offers?
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlyn Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season because this is Caitlyn Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included the Indiana Fever?
Stephen A. Smith has made it crystal clear. You don't get to build a castle, invite a queen to live inside it, and then pretend she's just another guest. Either you embrace her as the centerpiece, or you watch your golden opportunity slip away, possibly forever. The WNBA doesn't have a surplus of Caitlyn Clarks waiting in the wings. This is a once-in-a-generation moment, and the clock is ticking fast. Caitlyn Clark wasn't just another top draft pick. She was lightning in a bottle. She revitalized a league, brought in new fans, and made women's basketball matter to millions who never cared before. And yet, somehow, the WNBA treated her rise like an inconvenience rather than the gift it truly was. Now, with her sidelined, the league is finally realizing what she was worth, and the price for their mismanagement may be catastrophic. Before you click away, I need your help. If you want more deep dive, no fluff breakdowns like this, hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, drop your comments below, and let me know where you stand. Is the WNBA blowing its biggest shot? Every subscription directly fuels this kind of content and helps us push back against the watered-down narratives elsewhere. The WNBA had lightning in a bottle. Now, the storm's rolling in. And if they don't course correct fast, they may never recover.